Hello, friends. This is Dave Hurwitz, executive editor at ClassicsToday.com, here with random reviews from the Overflow room. Yeah, and we're continuing our traversal of the amazing music of Rossini, the luminary of the classical period, great Italian classical opera, who wrote so many more things than you think you know. I mean, just really unbelievably incredible stuff. And this is just the Overflow stuff. I've got tons of it upstairs, too. He was such a cool composer. And, I've got the whole critical edition of the Rossini operas, which has been one of the most fascinating things that I've ever seen in my life, if you're a score person. But anyway, let's just talk about this chunk. It's a fairly decent pile of goodies here. And let's go through them. Lots of overture discs, as I said before. Yes, overture discs. This is the Fritz Reiner Rossini overture disc, one of the great Rossini overture discs ever in the history of humanity, even if the editions are still the old, sort of Baudelarized ones. But the playing. Oh my God, it's unbelievable. Fabulous. Then we've got the good old Barber, the classic Abbado Barber. This was the first, I think, of Abbado's Rossini operas with Hermann Prey, Teresa Berganza, Luigi Alvo, Enzo Dara. I mean, just fantastic casting and wonderful, wonderful attention to details of the score. Although, the Barber of Seville is actually, the critical edition has only just come out. The new critical edition. There have been a couple, actually. And it doesn't really matter that much. I mean, we all know how the opera is supposed to go, don't we? It's a brilliant, wonderful performance. Abbado was really one of the great Rossini conductors out there because he was as obsessive compulsive as Rossini was. And he could micromanage to his heart's content, and it only sounded better. It was really good. Tancredi. This is a fabulous performance of Tancredi. Tancredi is a tragic opera. It's not a comedy. It's in two acts. It still has secco recitativo, the dry recitation accompanied by just simple piano or harpsichord underneath. But this was the opera that established the classical forms, classical period. This is what this was. It was about, 1810, 1811, something like that when Rossini wrote this. The classical forms of opera, Italian opera for the next century or so, where you had the cavatina, the entrance cavatina, followed by a bravura finish with some interventions of various characters to move the plot along. I mean, Rossini did all that. And this was sort of the opera that did it. This supposedly represents the purest spirit of Italian classical tragedy, and it is gorgeous. Oh, gorgeous. It has a couple of endings. There's a tragic ending where Tancredi dies, and a not-so-tragic ending, which is the one that Rossini was forced to go with, or Rossini went with originally, because, operas always in those days had to have happy endings no matter what. And this has Eva Podlish in one of her great roles, fabulously sung, Sumi Jo, Stanford Olson, Pietro Spagnoli, Anna Maria D'Amico, and Lucrezia Lendi. Really first class stuff. And beautiful performance under Alberto Zeda with the Collegium Instrumentale Bruggense and people like that. And gee, it's wonderful. If you don't know Tancredi, you really, really should. I mean, it had, one of Rossini's absolute greatest hit arias in it, and Di Tanti Palpiti, which was like the greatest hit of 1809 or something like that. It's just beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. And the other thing that really got me going on this opera is that there are many parts where Rossini indicates that people should play with vibrato, and he indicates vibrato with the word vibrato, which is really helpful, really kind of cool for those of you who are into period performance things and how wrong they are about vibrato. Tancredi is a good source. Then we've got Rossini Overtures with Joel Levy in Atlanta on Telarc. Great sound, very fine performances. You get, William Tell, Thieving Magpie, The Italian in Algiers, Semiramide, The Silken Ladder, Tancredi, and The Barber of Seville. I love The Silken Ladder. The Silken Ladder is one of the funniest pieces of music anyone ever wrote, and it's just so brilliant, wonderful. Here's the Fritz Reiner one again. I mean, I just showed you the Fritz Reiner one down there. It's been reissued like millions of times, and I have all of them, I must say. Cenerentola with Agnes Balza, Francisco Ariza. Let's see, it still has its complete special price sticker on it. This is with Neville Mariner. Really interesting. Rogero Raimondi and Felicity Palmer and other people like that with the Academy of St. Martin in the Fields. And he has a libretto with system requirements. I have no idea what the system requirements do. I don't understand any of it. But that's that one. It's not one of my favorite Cenerentolas, by the way. You know, I'm a Frederica von Stade and you know, some Teresa Berganza did it, and Jennifer Larmore was really, really good. Rossini overtures, we have 7 plus 14 of them with Chailly and the National Philharmonic. This was sort of a classic reference for larger collections of Rossini overtures, so that's nice to have. And we've got the other Barbara Seville, the Naxos one, which is surprisingly good. It really is, with Roberto Servile and Sonia Ganassi as Rosinos, very good. Ramon Farkas, and it's a good cast here, with the Filoni Chamber Orchestra of Budapest, who's conducting under Will Humberg. And you get like a lot of it. Oh, something just peeled off. Wait a minute. You know, one of the things about going through these things is I get to reattach them when they've fallen off their little spool things. There. What was this thing that fell? Oh, I have no idea. Some little sticky thing. Okay, so there that one is. And then we've got the complete overtures with Neville Mariner and the Academy of St. Martin in the Fields. They're good. They're good, they're neat, they're clean. They're lacking in the last amount of healthy vulgarity and joie de vivre, but they're well played, and it was a good way to get all of the Rossini overtures in a clump. So there's that clump. That's, I think, the musical heritage reissue of it. And last but not least, the Chamber Orchestra of Europe and Abada, one of the great Rossini overture discs. We've talked about this one before. I have it upstairs too. That's why this one's in the overflow room. Of Barber, Semiramide, Italiana in Algiers, William Tell, Cenerentola, Silken Ladder, and La Cazza Ladra. And they're all fabulous. Fabulous performances done according to the latest critical editions with the chamber orchestra, and they're just delicious. So that's it for this pile of Rossini. Keep on listening, friends. Thanks for joining me, and take care.